Whenever we talk about gameplay, the first thing that we think about is the controls and the movement, the combat, etc. But there's one thing that we don't really mention is the AI, like the enemy AI. You see, I mostly play games on my own, so the AI is something I really care about. To me, it really matters because it is the core of my experience. It plays an important part. It doesn't matter how flashy the combats are and how fluid the movements are. If the enemy is trash and if the enemy doesn't give me any challenge, I think it affects the experience as a whole and I might not enjoy the game as much. In order to illustrate this, I made a small game. It's a simple, basic and ugly stealth game where you play a zombie that's trying to escape a room without getting caught. So, as you can see, we have one soldier. This enemy's algorithm is pretty simple. He only follows a very specific path until he sees you, and the game is over. This approach is not bad on its own. It's not a bad thing. The only problem I have with this is that it seriously limits the replayability of the game. It's a game that will be fun the first time and maybe the second time, then you'll realize that it's so predictable that you can beat it with your eyes closed as long as you follow the exact same pattern that you did the first time you beat the game. Okay, for this one, I came up with a different approach. I designed all the possible paths that the soldier can follow, then saved each of them in a separate file. Every time the scene is loaded, it picks a random file and loads it into the soldier's path. Translation: every time you start the game, the soldier will have a different path. What I like about this approach is that it adds a little bit of replayability to the game and the game becomes less predictable. Okay, now things are getting serious. You see this soldier over here? Now he's even smarter than you think. Not because he went to MIT or something, because if he did, he would be hunting bugs and trying to improve Grok or GPT-5, not hunting zombies. But anyway, what I mean is, he's an improved version of the previous one. He randomly selects the paths that were previously created. However, he can randomly stop moving to turn around. Yes, this is a huge improvement, because you can just decide to sneak behind him and lower your guard. You need to think ahead in case he decides to turn around. You need to keep an eye on the soldier. Also, an interesting feature is that it has the ability to change the path mid-game. Yes, so now you're going to have all the possible patterns in one game and it will be randomized. What's good about this approach is that it significantly increases the replay value and adds more challenge to the game. No matter how many times you play it, it still feels unpredictable and fresh. The downside is, because it's too unpredictable, if it's not executed correctly, it can make the game extremely hard. The randomness needs to be managed a little bit in order to give the user a fair chance to win. Even with all the yapping that I did in this video, I get the feeling that some of you might not get the point that I'm trying to make. But I'm gonna try to summarize it for you. So I know some of you are probably gonna ask me, does it just mean that a good AI is a smart one? Why didn't you just say it from the beginning? Well, not exactly. Actually, only focusing on how smart your AI is could be damaging to your game. I'll give you an example. During the development of Uncharted 4, the playtesters hated the game because the AI was just too good. The AI was just too smart and too strong. It was killing them all the time. So it got frustrating for the players. And that's what I was trying to tell you all the time. Only focusing on the intelligence could really hurt your game. The goal of the AI at the end of the day is to satisfy the players. Okay, no, that's not what I meant. What I mean is you need to think about the user experience as a whole. The AI needs to match the user or the player's need to be challenged, but at the same time it needs to be vulnerable enough to reward the player with a win.
I'm far from being an expert. I only picked up game development recently, but I've played games long enough to know that a game needs to always be fun and needs to always be fair. That'll be it for this video, so if you enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, leave a comment, tell us about the games that you've played, which one do you believe has one of the best enemy AI system, and also feel free to follow me on itch.io. That's where I'll be posting all the demos that I use in these videos as illustrations. That's where I'll be posting them so that you guys can also play around with them in case you're bored. And also you can go on itch.io to play my previous games. I've released a couple of games like last year, so you can check out my games and leave a comment, and your feedback is always appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy New Year and peace.
Subscribe, motherfucker.